All right, we're going to do a installation of a Linux operating system on your systems here utilizing VirtualBox. So pay attention to the steps here. So what we're going to do is we need to download first the Linux Mint. So I'm going to go Google Linux Mint, go to download. You're going to go to, there's many different options. We're going to look at downloading the Linux Mint, the Cinnamon version. Click on download. And you're going to scroll down here and you're going to basically pick a site to download Linux Mint. And then by default, when you download the file, it's going to go down to your, just like with Windows, to your downloads folder. And here we have Linux Mint. So once you have that downloaded, what we're going to do is we're going to fire up VirtualBox. From VirtualBox, we're going to create a new environment. And to do that, you need to click on Tools. We're going to click on New. And then we're going to type in CIS 222 Linux. Now, the default folder should be /VM VirtualBox VM. If it's not, we're going to select Other, and you want to hit the hard drive here, go to VM. Here's our VirtualBox VMs, and click on Open. So that's where it needs to be. For our Linux type in that, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and select Ubuntu. Even though we're doing Linux Mint, we're going to select Ubuntu 64. Click on Next. The size here for our memory is going to be 8196. Click on Next. We're going to create a virtual drive. Click on Create. Virtual hard drive image, which is fine. Click on Next. Dynamically allocated, which is fine. We're going to click on Next. By default, it's going to use that directory that we just put our environment in. So you can see we have CIS Linux configuration with our virtual hard drive. The only other thing is we need to make sure that this is at 50 gigabytes large. All right, so we want to change that setting and click on Create. So we're almost done. Now this created the environment. Now we need to do one more step. We're going to click on Settings. We're going to click on Storage. From the storage, we're going to click on the CD-ROM. And then over here in this corner, we're going to click on the down arrow. We're going to choose a disk. And we need to go to our Downloads folder. And here is basically Linux Mint. Click on Open and click on OK. So you can see that we have a ISO image of the Linux operating system. All right, so we're almost ready to do the installation. This does not set up the environment right away. We need still to go through a Linux install. So this time we're going to click on Start. The system is going to fire up. We're going to basically click on Enter to begin the installation. And what will happen right now is the system is beginning to read the image from the ISO file. And from there, it should pop up a graphical component of Linux Mint. And we're going to go through the actual installation of it. So this one, that's fine. Deselect that. We're going to click on the icon, Linux Mint. And in a few minutes, a installation wizard will pop up for the installation. So here's our install procedures. So just like with any operating system, we go through installation wizard. So we're going to utilize our default of English. Click on Continue. Keyboard settings, there's nothing to change, so click on Continue. We're not going to install any additional media codecs, so click on Continue. Now, Pay attention to these settings here. So what we're going to do is we're going to install Linux Mint on a basically new hard drive, which is a virtual hard drive. You notice that it's saying that's going to erase and install Linux Mint, which is perfectly fine. At a later point, we'll go back and look at all the specifications of the drive. We're just going to click on Install Now because we're going to let the default of having the system partition and basically install the file system. Now, either make a screenshot of this off your phones or make a note somewhere, but prefer for you guys to take a screenshot, because when we get to the topic of disk management, we're going to review some of this material over here that happened during the installation. So we'll just click on Continue. And then a couple other things we need to add to the system is basically give a system a computer name, a user account, as well as a password. So that screen will pop up in a moment here. All right, now it's smart enough to identify which regional time zone we're in, so we'll just click on Continue. And then here's our last step of this. So your name is going to be student. Your computer name is going to be your workstation name, so F217W, and I'm on workstation 13 right now, 13 dash, oh, we can't put a hyphen in there, so we'll put in 13, we'll do Linux 1, okay? Username is student, password of student. Now you notice that's a weak password. It would help if I typed in the correct password there. Student. Do not select any other options in terms of login automatically. If we have time, we'll go and look behind the scenes of how that is done in some specific files that it's able to log on, and click on Continue. And what this will do then is basically go through the installation process, install the Linux operating system in your virtual environment. And that is all that is to it. Once the installation is done, the system is going to need to reboot, and after that you have a working operating system.